there for this state, they are all in trouble.
Yes. That means the criminal in our surroundings, in our localities, in our state, Delta, they are in big trouble. Big trouble. Let's take him to the station. Let's take him.
See, this thing where you do is not good. This thing is not good. Because say you and your neighbor, they quarrel. You see and they carry property. You keep and quiet. Tomorrow if you cut if you're picking. Yeah, now. Me we know they quarrel. Now one will be for this Delta state. Now make her they tell us say, I Delta of Wovo. Our request be of Wovo. A Mori Delta. It don't good. Eyato rishe shegbene enewani misiwero enewagbijo siwero urobo wado isoko wado ajade devokianga aizo idibo inuanu. We are all in Delta State. Eyato rishe shegbene enewani misiwero enewagbijo siwero magbijo siwero magbijo siwero.
Ayato rishe shegbene enewani misiwero enewagbijo siwero
magbijo siwero magbijo siwero.
Ayato rishe shegbene enewani misiwero enewagbijo siwero magbijo siwero magbijo siwero enewani misiwero enewagbijo siwero.
Ajade de mokianga, Ishekiri de mokianga, Ogiame. Hey! Hey! Uroboado.
Hey!
Isokoado.
Hey!
Hey! Ideta o we mako kayo e mo ideta we kuye kayo.
Idata we mako kayo e mari idata we kuye kayo.
Deta mena o we mako kayo e mari ideta we kuye kayo.
Idata we mako e mari idata we kuye
E
kayo.
mari ideta. E mari ideta.
We kuye
E
kayo.
more urobo.
We kuye
E
kayo.
mari sherifio.
We kuye
E
kayo.
more urobo.
We kuye
E
kayo.
mari sherifio.
We kuye
E
kayo.
mari sherifio.
We kuye
E
kayo.
more urobo.
We kuye kayo. Oso, oso marakwo mai oso, oso marakwo mai oso, oso deda marakwo mai oso, osarega marakwo mai oso, osawa marakwo mai, marakwo mai, marakwo mai, marakwo mai, marakwo mai, soru deda marakwo mai, sorarega marakwo mai, sorewa marakwo mai.
Isokoado.
Hey!
Wade. Uge. 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 Uge.
Ude! 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 Ude!
Sadia
Sadia e sabwake tolumo. Sadia e sabwake. Sadia e sabwake tolumo. 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 Sadaka black man yes bala. 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 Sadaka black man yes bala.
na kwe gwo hoyo ya kilija asabro na kwe gwo hoyo na asabro na kwe gwo hoyo kilija obodo wole gwo hoyo iya asabro na kwe gwo hoyo wole gwo hoyo ya heje hoyo ya seke Tenseke izeko ojo koko oyo ya tenseke kojo oyo ya kojo ije kokwa oku ije kokwa ogo ya egwo oyo ya oyo ya le kwegwo oyo ya.
I believe we can give them a better applause. If we let them, they can entertain us all day. All right. Thank you. We're gaining speed. While that performance was going on, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest of honor walked in. Please, let's give a round of applause for the chairman of Zenith Bank, Mr. Jim Ovia. Thank you for joining us, sir. Of course, he didn't come alone. He was accompanied by one of the most dependable GMDs in the banking sector. Please, the GMD, Zenith Bank, Mrs. Adora Umweoji. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. Before I left the stage, I talked about virtually everybody I have worked for hosting their birthdays. But you see the way the devil works. The person who has paid me the most, I managed to miss seeing him. I spotted him the moment I left. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder of Rain Oil, Mr. Gabriel Ogbeche, I hosted his 50th birthday. I hosted his wife's 60th birthday. I hosted his child's 25th birthday. I hosted his other child's graduation. That's the point I'm trying to make. Please, let's give him a round of applause as well. All right. You are about to see a video, I'll call it a presentation by the committee as regards this afternoon, the reason why we are gathered here. So media, please, let the picture speak for itself. Thank you.
Security, according to the United Nations, means freedom from fear, freedom from want, and the assurance of a stable environment where people can thrive. That vision finds full expression in Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's MORE agenda, particularly the E, enhanced peace and security. The protection of lives and property remains the foremost duty of any government. As the Chief Security Officer of Delta State, Governor Oborevwori wears that duty with pride, pursuing it with purpose, passion, and proof of impact. Through collaboration with security agencies, local vigilante groups, and community policing initiatives, he has built a united shield against insecurity across the state. On November 18th, 2024, the governor once again demonstrated his commitment to security by donating 31 brand new Hilux patrol vehicles, each fitted with modern communication gadgets, to security operatives under Operation Delta Sweep. His goal: swift response, safer streets, peaceful nights.
With the enhanced peace and security as one of the pillars of the MORE agenda, this administration has embarked on another mission to reinforce our security architecture by introducing Operation Delta Sweep as a direct policy response to rising cases of violent crimes.
Receiving the vehicles, the Inspector General of Police, Coyote Egbetokun, lauded the governor's foresight, describing it as proof of leadership that understands the link between security and progress. In just over 2 years, the Oborevwori administration has provided more than 60 operational vehicles to security agencies across Delta State. clear evidence that no investment is too great when it comes to the safety of citizens.
Thank you for the support that you have been giving to the police command and other security agencies in the state.
But Governor Obarev Wari's success in keeping Delta secure is no accident. It is deliberate. A careful balance of enforcement and empowerment, a stick and carrot approach designed to reduce crime and strengthen the economy. During a visit by participants of senior course 47 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, led by Brigadier General Al Hassan Grema, the governor explained how this approach remains central to sustaining internal security in the state.
Towards the overall government of the state, this administration came up with a more agenda as pathway towards achieving meaningful and sustainable development with a core mandate of security and social stability. The state recognized the importance of intelligence gathering in security management and has created a number of offices to coordinate this aspect. There has not been attack on oil installations because there's a good working relationship with the host communities and all the stakeholders.
Plans are underway to deploy surveillance technology to combat crimes. His administration is also empowering youths and women to tackle the root causes of insecurity. A peaceful Delta is a prosperous Delta. Beyond vehicles and policies, the governor has fostered constant engagement by holding regular meetings with traditional rulers, local government chairmen, and community leaders. Through these collaborations, every tier of governance plays an active role in Delta's security architecture. The governor has also revitalized the Delta State Security Trust Fund and ensures the State Security Council meets regularly to assess threats and coordinate swift responses.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor, has just finished sharing this, he has also re-emphasized I will go back to the drawing board and make adequate preparation for the Ember month. And we are aware of what happens in those months preparatory to the festive period. So we are going back to our drawing board. We'll ensure that what we are telling to Deltas is that this year's Christmas will be more peaceful. And Deltas can return back home to come and celebrate and have a good time with their loved ones.
At Delta's 34th anniversary celebration on August 26, 2025, Governor Obarev Wari again demonstrated that security is not only about deterrence, but also about welfare. He commissioned 31 bedroom flats for officers and men of the 181 Amphibious Battalion, Agbor, a gesture reaffirming his administration's respect and support for those who defend Delta's peace.
Armed forces and security agencies provide the enabling environment for states like ours to pursue meaningful development. These 30 units of one-bedroom flat are more than just physical structures. They symbolize our determination to improve the living conditions of the men and women who daily put their lives on the line for our safety.
In addition, the governor continues to champion amnesty and rehabilitation programs for repentant militants and at-risk youths, providing them with skills, training, and economic empowerment to rebuild their lives. Governor Sheriff Obarev Wari means business. The message is clear. Criminals, take heed. Delta State is no haven for crime. With round-the-clock vigilance and purposeful leadership, Delta remains secure, peaceful, and open for progress.
I've been making a lot of effort, and I'm still making more effort. This recovery will show that I want to enhance peace and security. This person was intercepted on that express Gwashuku road. You will not know he's carrying anything. Conceal all this inside the vehicle. All the security agencies are doing their best. Keep peace. If there are crises today, investors will not come. This is Delta State, we want peace.
We want to pledge our loyalty to the state, that the service has remained resolute in procurement of actionable intelligence to protect the citizens of your state by starving the criminals of the instrumentality of crime.
Governor Sheriff Obarev Wari, working more for a safer, stronger Delta.
way things are going, soon one of these days we'll be clapping in AI. Anyway, I think that captures the story, and it is very clear that our governor and his administration is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that Delta has no place for criminals. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, on a day like this, when you have two MCs, there will always be the contrast. Bobby is very entitled to promote the work that he does, both for himself and for many of us seated here. And some of us will take a different route. So Bobby, well done for advertising your services. As you get those briefs to do the 60th and the 70th, make sure you drop some money into the Delta State Security Trust Fund. We are actually told that development in itself actually invites some insecurity. This is Delta. We know our state, bordered by 5 very good states: Edo, Anambra, Rivers, Bayelsa, Ondo. We know where our capital is. We know where our economic center is. This state continues to suffer from its own brand of insecurity. We're talking the threats of drugs, cultism-induced violence, cyber fraud, robbery, kidnapping, ritual killings, vandalism, and of course communal clashes, which have been reduced to the barest minimum. But I'd like to draw our attention to the fact that Nigeria as a nation formulated a national security safety strategy in 2024 and revised it or amended it in 2019. And in that document, it defines security as the cornerstone of development and progress in a free society. And that same security is a guarantee of the well-being of citizens and the stability of the state. Of course, in preparing for this occasion, it pleased me to run upon a document, a recent study on governance and insecurity. It was done by 3 persons pursuing their PhDs at the Delta State University, Abraka. It studied Delta as their case study, and that is published in the International Journal of Advanced Research Publications Reviews, as recently as April 2025. There's a plethora of definitions of insecurity, but we're not going to belabor ourselves with those definitions, because a man who is more than capable to tell us about security is here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, without taking much time, let me invite a man who retired as Deputy Inspector General of Police, one-time former Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, clearly a winner of the Best Commissioner of Police in West Africa. We are proud to have him as Delton, and he's here as our keynote speaker. Please join me in welcoming lawyer, security expert, Marvel Aboyibo.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Obodebori, a leader of exceptional vision and unwavering resolve, Your Excellency, Deputy Governor of Delta State, Sir Monday Onyeme, there was the restrictive clause in the statement made by the MC that we should just adopt. But when I'm tempted to acknowledge the presence of some key persons here present, sorry, I have to violate that. The distinguished chairman of this occasion, Mr. Aegboje, H. Mokode, CFR, the group chairman, Access Holding PLC. You're welcome, sir. The special guest of honor, I call him my boss. We're in Lagos together. Jim Ovia. You're welcome, sir. The highly respected Chief Launcher, High Chief Government, Wezide Bomopolo. You're welcome, sir. The Honorable Minister of Aviation, my brother, you're welcome, sir. Distinguished senators, the Secretary to the State Government, members of the House Assembly, esteemed members of the Executive Council, Delta State, our revered royal fathers, the dedicated leadership of our security agencies here present, proud partners from the corporate world who are also here in this meeting, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Now I can rise on the established protocol. It's a distinct privilege to share this platform with an administration that has empirically placed Delta State on an irreversible path of astounding development and progress. Your Excellency, your remarkable track record is demonstrated across the landscape of our state in monumental infrastructural projects, from the revolutionary transformation of road networks to critical investments in health and education, creating clear indicators of modern development. These giant strides are profoundly complemented by your steadfast commitment to security, as we just witnessed in that clip. Recognizing it as the essential foundation upon which all other development indices rest. Your visionary leadership is championing this security trust fund is a testament to your proactive and strategic approach to safeguarding the lives and livelihoods of every Deltan, ensuring that our state is not only open for business, but also a safe haven for its people. The former Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Kofi Annan, of blessed memory, once said, and I quote, "We will not enjoy security without development. We will not enjoy development without security. And we will not enjoy either without respect for human rights." This timeless wisdom from the former United Nations Secretary General perfectly frames the critical imperative of our gathering here today. We are here because we understand that a state cannot prosper in an atmosphere of fear and instability. Economic ambitions are stifled, educational pursuits are interrupted, and the very fabric of our community is frayed when security fails. Conversely, security efforts cannot be sustained in a vacuum of poverty and despair. They must be underpinned by tangible development and hope. This symbolic relationship demands a new thinking and a paradigm shift to a collaborative model that looks beyond the traditional approach of regarding security as the sole and exclusive responsibility of the government. It calls for a united front, a compact between all sectors of society, to build a fortress of peace and prosperity in and around Delta State. In this regard, the Delta State Security Trust Fund will provide a fundamental platform that will promote inclusiveness and citizens' collaboration and participation in developing a robust and strategic security architecture that will enhance the safety of lives and property in Delta State, while creating a conducive environment for private and public economic ventures to thrive. It is therefore with a profound sense of duty and optimism that I stand before you, fully aligned with the vision of this administration, to lend my voice very strongly to this crucial conversation and to rally the indispensable support required for its success. The Delta State Security Trust Fund, already established by law, we've been told, is a strategic and a sustainable answer to the 21st century complex security challenges. It is a structured vehicle designed to translate our collective will into actionable resources, providing our brave security personnel, some of them are here, with the modern tools, advanced technology, and continuous training and retraining, which they now urgently require. This is a direct investment in force multiplication. The benefit of our security agencies, equipped with state-of-the-art communication gadgets, combat patrol vehicles, forensic capabilities, and unmanned area surveillance systems, and a host of others, cannot be underestimated. This is not being extravagant at all. It is a necessity to combat the 21st century threat with 21st century security architecture. I call upon every well-meaning individual and corporate entities here present and those watching or listening from afar off to see this fund as the most critical project must be supported, and your contribution is a strategic investment in your own operational stability and long-term profitability, safeguarding your assets and your personal alike. To our revered traditional rulers and community leaders, I'm so glad they're here. Your partnership is the bedrock of intelligence and trust in this venture. You are the crucial link that will embed this initiative within our communities, ensuring local ownership. I repeat, local ownership, and fostering the cooperation that turns citizens into active stakeholders in their own security network, as we all watch in that drama piece. Let us also continue to be visionary, to use this platform to address criminogenic factors in Delta State, knowing that enhancing security and safety of lives and property will invariably provide a solid foundation for initiatives upon which youth empowerment through education and skill acquisition can be laid. Conclusion. The launching of this fund is not only a superlative declaration of sustainable action, but its triumph will also be written in our sustained commitment and collective action beyond this very moment we are. As a retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, who successfully, with every sense of modesty and humility, who successfully leveraged on a similar project to reduce crime to the barest minimum in Lagos while serving there as the Commissioner of Police. I wholeheartedly pledge my unwavering experience and support to this noble cause in my own state of origin. The responsibility is now ours. Let us live here today not just as attendees, but as champions and ambassadors for a secure Delta State. Let us give generously. I plead with you. Advocate passionately and collaborate tirelessly. Together, let us build a Delta State where the pillars of security and development stand strong, fostering a legacy of peace, a legacy of dignity, and a legacy of prosperity for us all. I thank you, and God bless you for your kind attention. Bless Delta State of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
The applause that followed that presentation did not sound like the applause of people who are desirous of having security. It's always a pleasure to work with professionals who have an open mind. And I'd like to say that DIG Marvel Akpoyibo, in many more ways than one, has demonstrated the openness of his mind. I'd like to let this hall into a secret by letting you know that just last night, DIG Marvel Akpoyibo invited myself and the SSG to come and review and take a look at this presentation he has just made. I mean, that is an attribute of a man who's very clear about his direction and wants as much input into his presentation as possible. And I think we need to salute you one more time for the presentation. There is a lot to say about security, but let me remind us that this is not just going to be a talk shop. We are here to raise money. I have been asking. The governor hasn't told me how much. The SSG hasn't told me how much. But he says, when I look at the number of heads in the hall, I should multiply it by 1 billion. And I have counted. I've counted about 180 heads in this hall right now. So 180 times 1 billion is what? The money time has come. Even Adora is looking at me like she can't. If it was deposits now, she would jump at it and calculate it. But we'll keep moving on. What we would like to do is to enrich and support the presentation from our DIG, and just to remind us that there are two parts to this matter of insecurity. Oftentimes we hear about the response after the fact. In fact, a key phrase I took away from the DIG's presentation is force multiplication, if I heard that right. You know, they speak from their own perspective, which is largely protective after the fact. But we must remember that one of the definitions also of insecurity is a breakdown in the mechanisms of state protection, often manifested through crime, insurgency, terrorism, and communal violence. Insecurity, we're told, thrives where there is erosion of state legitimacy and capacity to enforce law and order. Delta State, as zoned by the police, shares the Zone 5 of the Nigeria Police with Edo State. All the zones are headed by Assistant Inspectors General of Police, and it pleases me to let it be known that we have with us today, in dual capacity, representing Zone 5, where Delta belongs, and also he's been sent here to represent the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome to the microphone AIG Zone 5, Salman Dogo Garba.
His Excellency, the Super Executive Governor of the state, Eda Sheriff Oboweri, let me stand on existing protocol that have been duly established. I'm here in person to represent the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetokun, PhD, MPM, who wished to be here in person, but unavoidably absent because of other engagement. And as such, whatever remark I made here is from him. And it goes, it is with a deep sense of duty and appreciation that I stand before you today at these historical occasions, the official launching of Delta State Security Trust Fund. This initiative, championed by visionary leadership of His Excellency Right Honorable Eda Sheriff Oboweri, the Executive Governor of Delta State, makes a significant milestone in our collective pursuit of a safer, more secure, and more prosperous state. Let me begin by commending the state government for its unwavering commitment to the security and well-being of its people. The establishment of this trust fund is not just a policy decision. It is a clear demonstration of the political will to strengthen institutional capacity, empower security agencies, and the operational efficiencies of our security forces. In recent years, we have witnessed increasingly complex of evolving security challenges, from armed robbery, kidnapping, banditry, and cultism, to cybercrime and other emerging threats. These challenges require not only the courage and dedications of our officers and men, but also adequate tools, logistics, and resources to respond swiftly and effectively. With this trust fund, we are hopeful and confident that many of the operational gaps with face including mobility, communications, intelligence gathering, and personnel welfare will be significantly addressed. I want to Your Excellency and the good people of Delta State that the Nigeria Police Force, in collaboration with sister agencies, will continue to work tirelessly to ensure that states remain peaceful and secured. As Inspector General of Police, I have reaffirmed the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force to work closely with the Delta State government and all stakeholders to ensure the success of this initiative. Together, we can and we build a safer and more prosperous Delta State for all. I thank the governor and the entire government of Delta State once again for this noble step. I thank all our partners and stakeholders present today. And I encourage everyone to continue playing their part in the security architecture of Delta State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, AIG Salman Dogo Garba, for delivering the IGP's address in the best way that you could. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made the point that the matter of security is a two-edged sword. Clearly, inasmuch as we want to deal with prevention and protection, we have to try to address the root causes. We're speaking poverty, hunger, unemployment, illiteracy, social injustice, no functional education, no skills, and of course, a lack of jobs, amongst many others. As we look through all of this, we recognize that insecurity is a scar. If we call it a scar, we will not be too far from what it represents. And on that note, it pleases me to bring to the microphone a man who has served this country and recently published a book by the title Scar. He is a man who in that book clearly outlined the causes of insecurity, especially the Boko Haram conundrum in Nigeria. Please, ladies and gentlemen, for the biggest applause of the afternoon, let us welcome the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor.
Thank you for that honor. Your Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'd like to say that I'm delighted to be here, to be part of this program, and to also to have been called upon to perhaps give some form of support to what my friend and my elder brother has done, talking about DIG Marvel Okolboli. Let me indicate, and of course I ought to also appreciate the MC for the honor by indicating the book which I've just published, which deals with some of the problems that have been touched on, which I intend to also improve upon, which in my view is what the governor and his team have actually, understood very, thoroughly, that has given rise to this forum that have brought us here today. No doubt, every one of us, especially those of us from the security sector, policing is quite crucial to addressing all issues of insecurity. And so every security agency that you find in our climb, including the military, they are established for a purpose. But of course, that purpose is only complementary to governance. And so at the core of the issues that, that the police and other security agencies have been called to, the failure of governance in very many respects. And I believe that it is this understanding that has, led the governor along to see what they can do to be able to, complement, or if you like, improve the state of affairs within our state. I take very, humble note of the MORE agenda, and two of the pillars strikes me very profoundly, which is the opportunities for all and enhanced security. Now, opportunities for all seeks to address issues that have to do with what one may call the whole essence of security. By the way, by virtue of our constitution, which of course the governor also derived in tax and responsibilities, the policies, the constitution tells us that the primary objective of governance is safety and welfare of the people. And so this is the reason why the definition, or if you like, the desire of many nations to begin to place the human security at the core of its activities becomes very important. So any government activity that is not centered around the human person, then of course will be a failure. And so the totality of all the government activities, including road construction, reducing the social inequalities, among several other things, are all geared towards ensuring that the individual person is better safe and is able to have means of livelihood. And so as we go on today, that we have been able to bring, especially those within the financial sector and of course the industrial sector, who are the main, in my view, the main drivers of those who will be able to close up the gap in the level of poverty and disequilibrium within our economic environment. They can only do that if the platforms have been created, which is that security must be provided. And so I thought that it's essential for us to understand that the police, the military, and other security agencies can only do as much as what they have been empowered to do. And how our people in the rural areas have been sensitized enough to know that they also have a part to play in ensuring that the environment is safe. Indeed, if we may even go into history, the policing came because there was a need for us, at the medieval times, for communities to ensure that they improve on their well-being. When the populations of nations began to increase, they saw the need to see how they can close up the gap, since providing for everyone had become quite challenging. And so that's how policing, as a program evolved. But for us today in Delta State, I want to say that what we need to do, in addition to, of course, what the Security Trust Fund seeks to achieve, is that we must begin to expand the industrial base of our state, wherein individuals will be able to see how they can be engaged to expand the economic frontiers. And to also expand, and I take very good note of the state acquisition centers that the governor, both present and past, they have been able to establish. But for us to also expand that, so that we'll give right education and skills to our people, that it's only those who have been engaged that indeed we're able to make life more meaningful. Anyone that is not engaged, of course, the next thing perhaps he'll want to do is to begin to look for how he's going to survive, because survival remains at the core of human existence. So it's on that note that I'd like to, first of all, thank you, Governor, for what you're doing along with your team, and to ask that you reinforce all those programs that you already established. But beyond that, to also let you know that leadership is not that simple. And for all those who have been invited, especially for those of us, those who are in the financial sector and even the industrial sector, to also know that your contributions are quite pivotal to ensuring that we have a safer Delta State. A safer Delta State means more returns on your investment, more expansion in terms of whatever investment that you bring to the state. And of course, for the security agencies, for you to also know that not just the government, but everybody that is here, and even those who are not here but may be listening, are concerned about the inadequacies that you have. And so I believe that has strengthened the resolve of the state government to want to establish this trust fund, to ensure that the basket, for addressing security, the inadequacies of the security agencies are increased, such that there will be, equipment for you, resources that you require to be able to nip in the bud all issues that are beyond what governance has been able to provide. On that note, once again, I'd like to thank you for this great opportunity and to wish us well even as we make our donations. God bless you all.
One more time, let's give General Lucky Irabor an applause. I like the very last statement you made. You said, even as we make our donations. And that goes to all of us present here today. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing that Delta State stands out for is the plurality of language, plurality of tradition, and culture. It's on that note I would like to recognize custodians of culture, several royal fathers who have made out time from their busy schedule to be here today to participate in this. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me, put your hands together as I recognize His Royal Majesty, Major General Felix Mujaberu. His Royal Majesty, Major General Felix Mujaberu, Orue the First, CFRO, the Oroje of Okbe Kingdom, and Chairman, Delta State Council of Traditional Rulers. Thank you, Your Majesty. I also like to recognize the presence of His Royal Majesty, Professor Epiphany Azinge, S-A-N-O-O-N, Asagba of Asaba. And of course, His Royal Majesty, Ogiame Atuwashe III, CFRO, the Olu of Warri. A round of applause, please. All right. We're going to move on right now and take some goodwill messages, ladies and gentlemen. But before I do that, allow me to correct something my co-MC and mentor in the business, Dr. Nzeku, said. You said I came on stage and I was advertising my services. I beg to differ, sir. I wasn't advertising, I was testifying. Yes. I know I said I was going to host the birthday of our chief launcher, High Chief Government, Tompolo, next year. That's not an advert. It's by force. Even if you are not doing birthday, I will come and host it. All right. Yes, so I wasn't advertising. If I want to advertise, I will tell you stuff like Jim Ovia here, our special guest. I've hosted his daughter's wedding, and the next wedding I would like to host it. That's advertisement. But I'm not advertising, sir. Am I? But I will host it, right? I will also, let me leave it at that first. Ladies and gentlemen, the next person I am bringing on stage, it gives me great pleasure to introduce him, not because I like his style only, but because he happens to be an old boy of one of my alma maters, the great government college, Ughelli. For that group, let's put our hands together for Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo. Round of applause, please.
Thank you so much, Bobby. We have been told not to repeat the protocols that have been established, but I want to recognize my governor and the deputy governor here present. I didn't expect to speak at this occasion. I was only told the governor actually summoned me to be here today. We were here on Sunday too for a party meeting, and he summoned all of us to be here today. And so I am here with my senators. But the first thing I noticed here is the seating arrangement. You know, when you are launching such a fund, the big boys should be in front. So they set me up and put me in front. It's a setup. It's a big setup. I'm just a minister, a servant. Tompolo is properly seated in front. Jimovia is properly seated. Aigboje is properly seated. In fact, the governor, of course, by office. I don't know about the retired Apoyibo. You are retired, himself. Onowakwe is not properly seated. These are the money bags. I see Obi Kubana, you should be in front. Look at Adora, should be in front. Fidelity should be in front. So we are all not properly seated. These are the big boys that should be in front. In fact, Dafinone should be in front. So my own is just a setup. Oh, please don't mind me. I'm just a minister that they put in front to set me up. Anyway, that's on the lighter side. What we are here to do today is a very important function for every government. And I think my elder brother, the former Chief of Defense Staff, aptly put it when he said that security of lives and property is the first function of any government. And so what my governor is doing here today is actually his first mandate as governor of the state. In fact, what even brought about government as a whole, if we want to be theoretical for 1 second, is we all studied what they call the Thomas Hobbes theory in school. That before government came into being, there was a state of anomy as propounded by Thomas Hobbes. Everybody was for himself, no government. And so life was nasty, solitary, brutish, and short. And so that was what brought about the concept of government. And that means government was conceptualized basically first for security of lives and properties. And that is why all of us will give up our individual freedoms to a sovereign during elections to say, we vote for you, please take control of our collective security, instead of all of us trying to secure ourselves individually, and then the strongest survives against his neighbor. And so that is why we must commend the governor of Delta State, my governor, who has done tremendously well. I mean, in the past, I'm sure you know what this state was all about. In fact, my own local government, Uwe. So for all those from Uwe here, including him, is an Uwe boy, you can see the kind of improvement we have made in different sectors, different parts of the state, in terms of improvement of security. So, my governor, we thank you so much for this. In fact, today, the launch of the trust fund and the invitation of individuals to come here is the second aspect. I think Irabo also mentioned that apart from government, having given up our sovereign, our freedoms to a government to govern all of us, that we all then have individual responsibilities to regarding security. That is the concept of government. Individuals have their own responsibilities to assist government, and also not to assist government, to take charge one way or the other of security in their respective domains. And that's why you see as traditional rulers who are here, they have that role, unwritten role, to also secure their different kingdoms. But then, if you look at the Police Act, Akboyebo will testify to that citizens also have right of arrest. That's what they call citizens' arrest. It highlights the roles we have to play as individuals towards security. Don't say, oh, well, the governor is there, I'm going to sleep, let them do their best. No, we all have our individual duties and responsibilities regarding security. So the Police Act says individuals, you have a duty to arrest and then hand over to the law enforcement agencies. And that is what the drama, if you were here, the first drama that was enacted here, it appeared funny, but that exactly is what it's all about. They arrested the boy who was a thief, but the other woman said, hand the thief over to the authorities. That was citizens' arrest they did. It was citizens' arrest, and that is permitted by law. But beyond that, to also highlight that, if you look at, for lawyers here, if you look at the case of Fawemi and Akilo, my former boss, Gani Fawemi, when he wanted to prosecute the killers of Delegiwa, alleged killers, he went out to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, sorry, you have a right to prosecute. Because the Lagos state government was denying him the right, the fiat to prosecute, when he thought he had gathered enough evidence to prosecute the killers. The Supreme Court said at that point, in that case, that we all have even the right to prosecute once we are given that fiat by the Attorney General of the state or the Federation. All of this highlights the fact that we have a role to play. That's why I mentioned all of these incidents. But today, the role we have to play is the money role. That is why we're here, is the money role that we have to play today. So we urge everyone to play that role. Bring out your monies, support our governor, support the state, support what he is doing. That is how we can applaud what he's doing. Don't just be talking by mouth. For me, as minister, we are here to welcome you. I'm not part of the launcher, so take note. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Festus Keyamo. Allow me to add that you literally did our job here, which is marketing. I hope you know that you are amongst the people who have to support. I should be in front here. Do you know that they signaled us to come and cut you short? But because you were my senior, by the time you left government college, I had not even entered. But our co-MC here, Dr. Nzeku, was your senior in government college, so that's why he came. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on. We can't wait to get to the money part. Like our honorable minister has emphasized, we can't wait to get to the money part. The next person I'm calling on stage actually needs no introduction. Yes, indeed, he's our special guest. Yes, indeed, he is chairman of one of the most powerful brands in the world, and indeed one of the most powerful financial institutions, the most recognizable as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please put your hands together for Mr. Jim Ovia. Let that applause roll till he gets here.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Delta State, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Delta State, members of the Cabinet, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on existing protocol, even though you wonder we shouldn't say that. I am honored to join you here today and of this very important initiative that will help keep Delta State and citizens for businesses to thrive. I commend the Excellency and his visionary leadership and remarkable achievements, particularly the infrastructure and socio-economic development. Security is a core responsibility for government, and the Security Trust Fund, the governor's foresight, to bring shareholders together and to build initiatives here and framework for safety and development. The inception, Zenith Bank has proudly partnered with state government on initiatives that's so important to lives, and will therefore remain steadfast in this government. We look forward to Delta State, where our citizens and businesses continue to prosper in peace and security. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt that security is the trust of everybody and all humans that will contribute to security trust funds. It has become panacea for various state governments to set up security trust fund. I think Lagos State started this, and we were so proud to have played a role in that regard. And when Delta State announced they were going to do the same thing, we were one of the first to raise up our hand to join our dear governor of Delta State. Therefore, not only that we'll be ready to contribute our own quota, we also encourage everyone here to equally do the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming, and we do hope you'll be able to contribute your own trust fund. Thank you.
Wow. You have just listened to one of the titans of the banking and financial services. If you don't give Mr. Jim Ovia the applause of recognition that he deserves, that is one man I will always, always, always respect. And I can declare openly that he's one of those who sowed very heavily into my beginnings in this business, giving me the opportunity to support his brand, his bank, Zenith Bank, through many things for many, many years. Thank you very much, Mr. Jim Ovia. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother Bovi is always in the business of stoking trouble. You come to the microphone, because I can say what I want to say now because Mr. Jim Ovia has gone and taken his seat. But how do you come to the microphone? Look at an occasion like this where we have a man designated chairman, and you tell us that a brand that starts with the letter Z is more popular than a brand that starts with the letter A. I don't know how you want to resolve that problem. But anyway, what we do, in fact, they say that if you want to show that you have completed a spectrum, just say to anybody that you have covered the A to Z. And every other thing in between is spoken for. And that should give us a safe ground to move forward. This morning, it is by no mistake that a man who is very associated with worthy causes is here with us in a very unique capacity. He is a lawyer. He is a holder of a triumph of Master of Business Administration certificates. If you don't know what that means, look it up. It means 3 universities at once issuing 1 degree. He is an investor, a philanthropist, and a Nigerian banker. He is chairman in many places, but let me single out a few. Past President, Nigerian Stock Exchange. Chairman, Financial Market Dealers Association. Holder of the National Honor, Commander of the Order of the Niger. African Banker of the Year 2013. Member, American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Fellow, Chartered Institute of Bankers. I will tell you one thing, you know we're here to raise money today. In the year 2010, we have it on record that he donated $1 million to the Global Fund. 15 years later, you can only imagine what he would donate to the... He's done so many things, but I am pleased to welcome Founder Coronation Group, Founder Tengen Family Office, member Nigeria Solidarity Support Fund, our worthy chairman of today's occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ige Imokweden.
His Excellency, the Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Uborevore, the Governor of Delta State, His Excellency Sir Monday Oyeme, the Deputy Governor of Delta State, Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Ministers, distinguished senators, honorable members of the House of Representatives, senior members of the Armed Forces and Securities community, the special guest of honor, Mr. Jim Ovia, my big brother, Chief Launcher, Chief Tompolo, of course our keynote speaker, DIG Marvel Akpoibo, chairpersons and chief executives of leading companies in the private sector, Your Royal Majesties and Highnesses, distinguished Deltans, distinguished Nigerians, the world is looking on this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments and there are moments. There are leaders and there are leaders. Great moments are remembered because great deeds happened at those moments. But great deeds require great leaders. Delta State is witnessing at this point in its history great movement after great movement, spurred by the great driver, the great leader, His Excellency, my senior brother by 3 years, Governor Sheriff. This state is of immense importance to Nigeria, Africa's foremost nation. The state is associated with several immeasurable contributions to our nation, many of which have been spoken about here. I would like to share with you that even though I'm not a Deltan, even though I'm from neighboring Edo State, the most important thing I've ever obtained in my life, I obtained from your state, my dear wife Ofowe. And her contributions have been indeed transformational, just like yours have been to your state and your family. Our governor is a driver and enabler of this moment. My big brother spoke of infrastructure. I speak about prudent fiscal management. But certainly at the heart of it is that peace and stability is very present here in Delta State. At the heat of the moment, when I look back at points, there were parts of the state you could not drive through, points in time when, despite the natural resource wealth, production was a challenge. And I look now, and perhaps it is unfair of us to take for granted the peace that we have today, and for us to think of the need to guard it, to safeguard it for perpetuity. Mr. Governor, we all will rally behind the formal launch of the Delta State Security Trust Fund. I like your style. You are a man that is not for noise, is not for distraction. Just like the Nike logo that we associate with Michael Jordan. You just get it done. You just do it. And so to all well-meaning organizations in Delta State, all citizens, whether of origin or by choice of location or pursuit of business, who gain their wealth, their prosperity, and their peace of mind from this great state. This morning, this afternoon, and we shall continue because the launching doesn't end today, we shall just do it. Now, to the two compares, particularly Bovie. And given that he already said that he has compared or been the MC of one of my birthdays, I have an idea what we pay him. And it seems that there are almost 100 people in this room from Delta State or stakeholders of the state from whom you have collected this your MC fee. Based on the principles of derivation, I think you should come and sit where I was sitting because you will be taxed fully this afternoon. Now, I happen to come from an industry where, as a professional, a banker, banks are challenged somewhat from making public their contributions. What I will do, however, is this. I am no longer an employee of a bank in the sense of a banking professional. I am an employee of a bank in the sense of a non-executive director. So I can speak freely in my own personal capacity. And then, of course, my wife is a Deltan. I think that you can infer from what I'm going to do personally, given that it's a fraction of what the institution that I'm associated with most closely, Access Holdings, is likely to do. So on behalf of my family, as my wife Ofoe, I think you can start at 100 million naira. Now, it wasn't me who said it. I think it was the compare. Given that the A to Z of banking is here, you can take it to the bank that the banking community will fully support that which we are doing today. But I also noticed that the A to Z of oil and gas is also here. The A to Z of energy is here. The A to Z of infrastructure is here. So, to tell you the figure that His Excellency and I spoke about, we have a floor, not a ceiling, for the trust fund. Not necessarily to be launched and collected all today, but certainly His Excellency and I shall be calling significantly, repeatedly, to make sure that our minimum target of 100 billion is collected this year, 2025. What we end up collecting thereafter, well, Your Excellency, it's up to you to share with your people. As a beneficiary of Delta State through marriage, I have been so well received since I came here. I have looked at this wonderful audience of men and women of timber, caliber, crude oil, security, banking, and all. And I'm so proud to be associated with this occasion. Thank you, Your Excellency, and congratulations once again. So I will request the great leader of this occasion last, because he's our host. But, Honorable Minister, please join me. My big brother, Uncle Jim, if you choose to, please do some launching effects. High Chief Tompolo, please join us because you are the chief launcher and we will soon see your power.
And finally, yeah. Distinguished senators from Delta State at the federal, please. Senator Daphne, Senator Joel, please. Please. You want us at the center? Is it only to go at the center? Yes. Please. And so the man of the moment, His Excellency Governor Sheriff himself. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to have the honor and privilege of launching this great afternoon the Delta State Security Trust Fund under the authority of His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, Governor Sheriff. Okay, I think the sound can go now. We've had enough. Thank you very much. You don't need to, sir. I think, no, you don't need to, sir. Yes. So yes, please, our guests would, who supported, support Uncle Jim down. Forgive us for being gender insensitive, but the governor probably will tell us why. There was no woman. They say they don't need security.
Thank you very much. The chairman of today's occasion, respectfully recognize a very loyal, dependable deputy governor, His Excellency Samode Oyeme. Distinguished senators that are here, Senator Ede Daphne, Senator Joel Nwakpo, and other members of the National Assembly here. My very dear brother, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, SAN.
The chairman of today's occasion, Mr. Aigboje Ike Mokwede, I must say that I'm very glad. You were in UK when I gave a call to you. And you said you have other engagement, but you must be here. God bless you. Our special guest of honor, Mr. Jim Ovia, Chairman, Zenith Bank International. Thank you, sir. The chief launcher, High Chief Government Ikpemukpolo, also known as Tompolo, Chairman Tatinta Security Service Limited. The keynote speaker, DIG Marvel Akpoibo, Mr. Speaker, the speaking speaker, deputy speaker, principal members of the Legislative Assembly, members of the Legislative Assembly, members of the State Executive Council, chairman and executive secretary of Delta State Security Trust Fund, service commanders, AIG Zone 5, CP, Delta State, and other paramilitary agencies. I also saw the Air Force commander here and the brigade commander. Special recognition to my brother General Irabo, former CDS, and Admiral Dele Izoba, former Chief of Naval Staff, Captain of Industry, and members of the organized private sector, our very reverend traditional rulers, the Chairman of the Traditional Rulers Council, the Sabah of Asagba, and the Olu of Ori, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with a deep sense of responsibility that I address you today. First, I welcome all our esteemed guests for making out the time to honor our invitation. Your presence here today is highly appreciated, and we do not take it for granted. Please, permit me again to specially recognize the chairman of this occasion, Mr. Aigboje Mokwede, an outstanding banker and the chairman of Access Holding PLC, whose trailblazing strides in the financial services sector have continued to inspire younger generation of bankers. Also deserving of special mention is one of our leaders, Mr. Jim Ovia, chairman of Zenith PLC, and a man who can rightfully be described as the doyen of modern banking in Nigeria. I also thank the chief launcher, High Chief Government Ikpemukpolo, and the keynote speaker, DIG Marvel Akpoibo, two great patriots whose commitment to the growth and progress of our beloved state are encouraging and reassuring. I must say something here. I'm glad to see my dear brother, High Chief Government Uwezide Kwemukulu, alias Tompolo, who is here with us on his first public outing for the past 10 years. I spoke to him, you cannot be hiding, you must come. For 10 years, he has not attended any, outside his village, any public function. I thank you for coming. We are gathered here today to formally launch the Delta State Security Trust Fund, which was established by law in 2013. The primary function of the Delta State Security Trust Fund is to raise funds to complement the efforts of government by seeking collaboration
with the private sector to support security interventions. These interventions include the acquisition and deployment of security infrastructure needed for the effective function of all security agencies in Delta State. The funds are also used for training of security personnel to enhance their capacity and competence in tackling violent crimes and other crime-related activities. Given the importance and far-reaching impact of security on our daily existence, the Delta State Security Trust Fund was, from inception, envisaged to be a public-private partnership. As we all know, security is not the sole responsibility of government. It is everybody's business. Without effective security, meaningful development cannot take place. And individuals, companies, and businesses will find it difficult to operate and thrive. Hence, the trust fund reflects the principle of shared responsibility, one that requires the cooperation and partnership of the government, the private sector, citizens for peace, public safety, and sustainable development. Since its establishment 12 years ago, the agencies has played a vital role in boosting security operations in the state through the provision of funding and equipment to various law enforcement agencies. It has been able to procure and deploy critical equipment, including vehicles, communication gadgets, and surveillance tools to various security agencies to aid their effectiveness. The Trust Fund recently donated a state-of-the-art equipment worth millions of naira to the State Criminal Investigation Department at the Delta State Police Command Headquarters to assist the command and the Ministry of Justice in implementation of the Criminal Justice Law of 2022. Prior to this, 60 Hilux pickups and 10 Toyota Sienna buses were donated to the police and other security agencies by the Delta State government. However, what the government has done so far falls short in its significance when compared with the scale and complexity of the security challenges currently facing our state. As we all are aware, Delta State is the nexus connecting the Southeast and the Southwest. In recent years, owing to the organization of the state, especially Asaba, the capital, the state has witnessed increased migration from other states of the Federation. That means more security challenges in the forms of violent crimes, kidnapping, cultism, and community-level unrest. This administration has been very proactive in tackling these security challenges. Operation Delta Hawk was rebranded as Operation Delta Sweep to reflect the zeal and determination of this administration to reduce crime and crime-related activities in the state to the barest minimum. Operation Delta Sweep is a joint security task force comprising the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, DSS, and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. I am happy to report that the synergy among the security agencies in the state have been critical in the successes we have recorded so far in the fight against crime. A few days ago, acting on credible intelligence, DSS intercepted a cache of arms including 7 GPMGs, several rifles, pump-action gun, 5 grenades, and other illegal items from a gun runner from Taraba State. As a government, we are for some of the root causes of insecurity, such as poverty and unemployment, leading to youth restiveness. Hence, beyond investments in security hardware, we have formulated policies and programs to drive inclusive economic growth, educational advancement, health improvement, religious harmony, and environmental sustainability. Through our various social investment programs, hundreds of thousands of women, youths, and small business owners have been resourced with grant and business support packages. Additionally, the ongoing massive infrastructure renewal in the state has created thousands of direct and indirect jobs for engineers, artisans, laborers, food vendors, transporters, quarry operators, and so many others in the construction value chain. I believe that peace is enhanced when the various groups in the society, particularly women, youth, and the poor and vulnerable, are given opportunities to participate in the economy. Furthermore, we have enacted laws that target different aspects of our security needs. These include the Delta State Livestock Breeding, Rearing and Marketing Regulation Law 2021, Delta State Occupational Safety Law 2020, Delta State Community Security Corps Agency Law 2020, Delta State Anti-Kidnapping and Hostage-Taking Law 2026, and Delta State Anti-Terrorism and Anti-Cultism Law 2016. The Delta State Advisory and Peacebuilding Council, comprising eminent citizens in the state, is also a critical organ of government that seeks to promote sustainable peace in the state through community engagement. The council majors in identifying the potential causes of conflict and violence in communities and advising the government on conflict prevention and cause and peace management. Thus, in the oil and gas sector, Delta State remains a haven for international oil companies. They are here, they can testify to it. Marginal feed oil operations and ancillary businesses. Indeed, the state was adjudged the safest state for oil and gas investment in Nigeria in 2024 by the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources. It is our desire that the peace we currently enjoy is not only sustained, but also augmented in line with the 4 pillars of this administration's small agenda, which is enhanced peace and security. It is obvious that security is one of the most expensive costs of governance. Statutorily, 0.5% of our IGR is allocated to the trust fund monthly. In view of several important and competing needs, we are soliciting support for the fund to assist in keeping our state safe and secured and make it the preferred investment destination for foreign and local investors. Trust Fund proposes to utilize the funds generated from the effort to provide the following security support services: funding an establishment of command and control center to receive, monitor, analyze, and respond to distress within the state. Consolidate or surveillance around the state, especially in major urban centers. Acquire operational vehicles and state-of-the-art security equipment. Fund Operation Delta Suite and other established tactical units across the state. Fund and equip local vigilante groups to complement security agencies in the 25 local government areas of the state and provide security and intelligence training and retraining of security personnel. We solicit your generous contribution towards meeting these targets. Your donation are investment in the economic growth, business, competitiveness, and sustainable development of Delta State. I assure you all that every kobo and item donated will be transparently and judiciously utilized for the direct benefit of security operations in the state. Mr. Chairman of today's occasion, special guest of honor, and the chief launcher are men of high repute with integrity. We choose them because we know, seeing them here, we know that we are very, very serious. And Delta State is a major contributor to the center. I say it everywhere. That's why when I stay with my colleagues, I always stand tall. Not because of my person, but because of the state that I'm from. And what we need to strive here is to make sure that the place is safe for investment. And nobody wants to invest where there's no return on investment. So all the people who are investing here, they are getting return on investment. And that's why we have called for this Security Trust Fund fundraising. Because it has been in existence for 12 years. But having caliber of people here today, you can look at the hall. The people we have invited are people with integrity. And I know that they will not fall our hand in Jesus' name. Going forward from this event, I shall set up a committee of diverse experts to help review our strategies and prioritize our interventions. Because it's very key, not just raising the money when we don't even really just allow the chairman and the secretary to be operating. We will not allow that. We make sure the money is being utilized properly. Please join hands with us to build a safer and more prosperous Delta State. Thank you for your attention. God bless you. God bless Delta State.
Let us allow His Excellency shake all the hands he would like to shake. Your Excellency, those senators behind you, they have a lot of money. I think you should shake their hands too. Please shake their hands. Don't say I didn't tell you. Right. So what you'll find, and we would like for that to happen quietly, is that some forms are being, and cards are being distributed now. But two things I'd like to go back to. The first is our governor literally ending his speech with a phrase that has gained currency in Nigeria. You know, oftentimes there are certain things that are best said in the Nigerian way. And when His Excellency said he is appealing to all of us not to fall his hand, we understood exactly what he was saying, right? And the best way to put it is, only a man in charge of government, who is government himself, can make that sort of a definitive statement. And to ensure that we understood His Excellency clearly, I want to ask all of us the simple task to stand up, acknowledge the work of this governor, and give him a round of applause. Thank you, Your Excellency. Please be seated. You will also remember that because of the sequence of events, we didn't have the opportunity to properly introduce the governor, not like he needs that introduction, but it is always good to lay some context to what we're about to say. Please, can we have some attention? Please, no noise. All whispers held. We have just listened to a man that I would describe as the author and driver, maybe the owner of the More Agenda. And we would all agree that the More Agenda is essentially focused on a better life for all. Our governor can simply be described as a performing governor. And guess what? Not only does he own and drive the More Agenda, our governor is always wanting more. And that is why our governor, not satisfied with the More Agenda, went ahead and subscribed fully and also appropriated the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ladies and gentlemen, no other governor in Nigeria has exhibited a stronger political will to govern his state and build it in a very secure manner. As you have heard from him, he is strengthening our institutions, he is ensuring stronger enforcement of the laws, he is prioritizing interagency collaboration and empowering our communities as partners in establishing a very secure state. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the work that you're doing. If you feel like he deserves another applause, you can give it, otherwise we'll move on. But how can a man be born and the name you are given is the name government? How does that happen? Today I want to speak of a man in business. From business, he went into political activism and what I may describe as forceful advocacy.